Hello friends, hope you all doing well. So today here in this video I will discuss about the mandibular nerve. I will talk about the mandibular nerve and different branches of this mandibular nerve. Mandibular nerve and different branches of the mandibular nerve. So mandibular nerve is the largest. It is the largest of the three divisions of the. It is the largest of the three divisions of the trigeminal nerve, and is the nerve of the first branchial arc, and it is the nerve of the first bronchial arc, and it consists of both sensory. It consists both sensory plus motor. It consists both sensory plus motor, and origin of the mandibular. So it consists both sensory and motor neurons, and origin, it is formed by the two roots. Number one, that is larger sensory root, and number two is small motor root. Number one is larger sensory root, and number two, that is small motor root. Larger sensory root and small motor root. So larger, it arises from the convex aspect of the trigeminal ganglion. It arises from the convex aspect of the trigeminal ganglion, and small motor roots, it arises from the ventricle aspect of pons and passes below the trigeminal ganglion, and it passes below the trigeminal ganglion. So the course, now the course of mandibular nerve. So the course of mandibular, if both roots are passed through the foramen oval, these both roots are passed through the foramen oval of the foramen oval and joined to form the main trunk, which lies in the infratemporal, which lies in the infratemporal fossa. First, these both roots are passes through the foramen oval, and then it goes to the which lies it form the main trunk, which lies in the infratemporal fossa, After a short course of main trunk, divides into a small anterior part and a large posterior division. Then it comes a small anterior part, and then first two roots, foramen oval through foramen oval, then it passes through foramen oval and join to form the main trunk, which lies in the infratemporal fossa. Then it makes one main trunk which lies in the infratemporal fossa. Infratemporal fossa. And after a short course in the main trunk, divides into small branches, small anterior and a large posterior division. It branches to small anterior and large posterior. Small anterior and large posterior branch. Now the relations of the trunk. Now the relations. We'll talk about the relations of the trunk of mandibular nerve. Medially, it's now the relations. Medial. Medially, its relations with the tensor veli palatine muscles, palatine muscle, tensor palatine muscles. Then the medial tensor, medially, then the medial, then the lateral. Sorry, then after medial it is lateral part. In the lateral it has the lateral pterygoid muscles. Lateral pterygoid muscles. Lateral pterygoid muscles. And number 3, that is anteriorly. It has the relations with, in anteriorly, otic ganglion. Otic ganglion. And then the posteriorly middle meningeal artery. Posteriorly it has the posteriorly middle meningeal artery. Middle meningeal artery. Posteriorly the relations with middle meningeal. Now the branches of the mandibular nerve. So now the different branches of the mandibular nerve. Branches of mandibular nerve. So the branches of the mandibular nerve. So number 1, that is meningeal branch. Number 1 is meningeal branch. It supplies the durameter of the medial cranial fossa. From the main trunk, the anterior division and posterior division. So it has 3 divisions. Number 1, that is the main trunk. Number 1 in the main trunk. In the main trunk, it gives the different branches that are: number 1, that is meningeal branch. Meningeal branch. Meningeal branch, it gives the diameter. It supplies the durameter of the medial cranial fossa. It supplies the durameter of the medial cranial fossa. It enters the then it enters the medial cranial fossa along with the medial meningeal artery through the foramen spinosum. It goes through the foramen spinosum. So this trunk, which is the meningeal branch, it supplies the durameter of the medial cranial fossa. It enters the medial cranial fossa along with the medial meningeal artery through foramen spinosum. So number 2, that's nerve to pterygoid, nerve to medial pterygoid. Number 2, that is nerve to medial pterygoid. Nerve to medial pterygoid. So it gives the supply 3 mainly. They are medial pterygoid, tensor valley palatine, and tensor tympani. Medial pterygoid, tensor valley tympani, and tensor valley tympani and tensor tympani. Tensor valley palatine. It supplies the 3 trunk. These are medial pterygoid. Number 2, that is tensor valley palatine, and number tensor tympani. So main trunk is completed. Now the anterior division. From anterior division, from anterior division, it has 3 motor branches and 1 sensory branches. Here in the anterior division, it gives rise to 3 motor branch and 1 sensory branch. 3 motor branch and 1 sensory branch. Number 1, that is nerve to lateral pterygoid muscles. Number 1, nerve to lateral pterygoid muscles. Nerve to lateral pterygoid muscles. nerve to lateral pterygoid muscles. Number 2, nerve to masseter muscles, nerve to temporal muscles, nerve to masseter muscles. Number 3, that is nerve to temporal muscles, nerve to temporal muscles. And number 4, buccal nerve. And number 4, that is buccal nerve. So these are the anterior division, branches of the anterior division. Now the posterior division, and this is the last division, posterior division or the, so number 3, that is posterior division. See, posterior division. In the posterior divisions, it gives total 6 branches there. Number 1, auriculotemporal nerve. Number 1 is auriculotemporal. Auriculotemporal nerve. Number 2, that is lingual nerve. Lingual nerve. Number 2, lingual nerve. Number 3 is mylohyoid nerve. Mylohyoid nerve. Number 4 is inferior alveolar nerve, which is the dental branch. Inferior alveolar nerve. It's also called the dental branch. Branch number 5, that is incisive branch branchi. Incisive branchi, which is dental branch. It's also incisive branchi. And number 6, that is mental nerve. Mental nerve. So these are the branch of the posterior division of the mandibular nerve. So in this video I have discussed about the mandibular nerve. So at first we have discussed what is mandibular nerve and the origin of the mandibular nerve. This is the largest branch of the 3 divisions of the trigeminal nerve. Then the origin of the nerve, it's from the 2 divisions there, 2 roots. Number 1, that is the larger sensory root and the small motor root. Then the course of this nerve, then the relations of the mandibular nerve, then the different branches from the main trunk, from the anterior division, from the posterior division. So from the main trunk it gives total 2 branch there. Number 1, meningeal branch and the nerve to medial pterygoid. And then the anterior division, it gives total 4 branches there. Nerve to lateral pterygoid muscles, then the nerve to masseter muscle, nerve to temporal muscle, and nerve to buccal muscle, and the buccal nerve, sorry. And in the posterior division it gives total 6 branches there. Auriculotemporal branch, then the lingual nerve, then the mylohyoid nerve, then the inferior alveolar nerve, then the incisive branchi, and the mental nerve. So these are the divisions of the mandibular nerve. So thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe this channel if you like this. And one thing, that is mandibular nerve, it's a very important topic for the dental students.